Welcome to another episode of Ask Amanda, where I answer all of your most deep-rooted questions concerning health, mental wellness, how to live your best life. So today, I wanted to address one question that I got. I posted this question on my Facebook, and one of the questions that I asked was, what do you struggle with the most? And somebody messaged me back saying, oh my God, I struggle when it comes to my night cravings, especially with chocolate. How do I go about handling that? So, here are my ways that I go about handling cravings. So, as you recall, I do have a video, I will include that in the description below, on how to handle cravings, especially at night. We are all creatures of habit, right? So if you're used to always getting something to eat at the end of the night or at the end of the day after dinner usually, that is something that you want to start thinking about, right? So if you have a craving for chocolate, all right, chocolate is a big one for a lot of people because it's sweet, it gives you that nice like a lot of good brain feels that are happening when you eat chocolate. So here are ways that you can actually combat that. So first and foremost, you want to better understand like why you crave what you crave. So when you're craving stuff, especially like sweet things like chocolate, more likely than not, your brain made an association with a really good event that happened in your life when you were eating chocolate or when you were eating something very sweet. And when your brain has a cognitive ability to take a snapshot of that good moment, and your brain associates eating chocolate when you were having that good moment with that good moment. So every time you're feeling stressed and anxious, needing some distraction, you automatically start to veer towards things that that were associated with happy things. And it's never like, sometimes it is an emotional thing, to just meditate and go back to it, but a lot of people like to go to physical things like eating. And especially snacks. So one thing you want to do is disassociate, especially if you're looking to cut chocolate, is to disassociate all the positive feelings that you've had with just that one thing with chocolate. You've had a lot of positive experiences in your life, and you want to come up with new associations and have your brain take more snapshots of that. So one way to do that is to pick up a hobby. So after you're done with dinner, that's when usually I get my cravings. So one thing I like to do is I like to keep my hands busy. So I like to paint. I haven't done knitting in a very long time, but that's actually something Ethan and I have been talking about doing for a very long time now. But knitting is a really great way to prevent yourself from doing the mindless motion of putting hand to mouth and constantly eating. So when your hands are engaged, your brain is stimulated. So that's another thing about cravings. So your brain is in some way looking for mental stimulation. So when it goes to the fridge for food, it's kind of like constantly trying to keep itself going and saying, okay, blah, 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 do something, eat, do something, eat. Like, and I guess the thought of actually the chewing and doing something is what's keeping your brain activated. So there's other ways to keep your brain activated. So keep your fingers nice and busy. Another thing that I would also recommend is to plan out when you're having your dessert. So I know a lot of people are very big into sweets, sweet desserts. So this is to the chocolate lovers out there. It's gonna sound really weird, but I recently really got into chocolate. When I was growing up, I detested chocolate. I know, like, what? You're a monster, Amanda. I know. A lot of people have told me this. It's no surprise. But I am getting more and more into chocolate. But one thing to do is, if you know you're going to be craving a chocolate, plan for it. So when you're meal planning or when you're figuring out what you're eating to get your nutritional daily values in every single day, think about how chocolate could fit into that, and think about how much you want that chocolate. So a lot of people just kind of go into the fridge and just willy-nilly will take all the sweets they have and just eat it, and they don't really give themselves like a stop. Like, they don't give themselves a boundary of like, okay, you're only gonna have like this much, and then you stop. No, usually it's kind of like a free-for-all. So think about if you decide to have chocolate, if you can't live without it, to portion it out. So you have your whole day, you've had, you know, hopefully you've had all the nutritional needs met throughout the day, so that by the time you get to the end of the day, you can enjoy a little bit of a sweet snack. Don't go overboard. A little bit is okay. Third thing, if you know that, you know, and I'm kind of like this too, if you have sweets hanging around the house and it's boring a hole through your head, like it's all you can think about, it's all you can possibly like fathom in your mind, all the energy in the world goes to like not wanting to think about it, but you do, then this is the unfortunate truth. You're gonna have to get rid of it. This is kind of like the Band-Aid thing. You kind of have to just rip it off, get it out of your house. One thing that I like to do, so I'm not a saint. I do love my sweets. So what I do is during the week, whatever sweets I have in my house goes out. I throw it out. I get it out of my house, and I try to find ways that I will not, like, I pretty much give myself no bars hold, no gate to be like, oh, but you know what, I'll keep a little bit here just, you know, for the weekend. What? No. I'm not like that. I'm very much like, if it's here, I will eat it. It's a very mental thing, and that's something I am working on. And I'm sure a lot of you are working on as well, but get rid of it. Get it out of your house. And then when it comes time for the weekend, make it one day in the week where you will have and indulge in something that you really, really want to indulge in. And until you learn portion control, maybe this is the way to go for now. And this is kind of how I started learning. So what I do is on a Saturday, I'll plan out what I want to cheat with, like not with food, not with people. Yeah. So I find out something that I want to like cheat with. So like chocolate. I really, you know, if I'm really into the chocolate thing, I'll go ahead and buy something for chocolate, knowing that come Sunday, like Sunday afternoon, that thing is getting thrown away. Okay. So when you have that in mind, that I am going to have this, I am not going to deprive myself forever, but by the time the weekend is over, this thing is going in the trash, that starts to have you like think differently about this. It makes you start thinking, okay, you know, I'm not going to buy as big of a quantity this time. I'm only going to have a little bit, and I'm becoming more aware of how much I'm actually eating. Without actually storing it, okay? When it comes to eating and craving and all that, awareness plays a huge role. So if you're not entirely aware of how much you're actually eating of something, take the time to do that. So that's step number, what's 3? Are we on number 3 right now? I don't know, I don't keep notes. But be more aware of how much you're actually eating. And this comes with meal planning, right? So you wanna know how much chocolate you're actually eating every single day, and how it's making you feel, right? So a big part of food journaling is understanding what your body is feeling after you eat it, and then maybe like 12 hours after you eat it. So when we in the healthy food world are talking about stuff that is good for you, we always want to be aware of how we feel after we eat something, because food is medicine. Food has effects on our body. You know, people will argue yes, people argue no. I personally know that if I eat anything with dairy, my stomach is not going to like me after eating dairy. So that's why I keep my ice cream to a minimum. Even though ice cream is one of my favorite things in the entire world, I keep it down to a minimum. Once a week, I have that. I know what my body's going to do. I don't have as much as I usually would. And because I'm more aware of that, my body is not as like angry with me after I eat it. So be aware of how you feel immediately after eating your chocolate. So if, for example, like, and this is, I don't want this to be a shaming thing, right? When you're eating chocolate and after you've eaten it, you kind of feel like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do to myself? I should not have allowed myself to do this. Recognize that, okay? So always talk to yourself in a positive voice. So if you are looking at chocolate like, you know, it's something you depend on for happiness, or it's something that you're like completely dependent on, and it's like, and once you have it, you feel immediately shameful about it. You got to take a step back and really analyze like what it is that you're trying to do here with your life and with your whys. You know, like, why are you trying to live a healthier life, and why are you doing this kind of negative association with indulgence with yourself? So be very careful about that. I know growing up for me, that was a big thing. I would indulge in food that I thought about and I obsessed over. It's like, I want to have this right now, or I can't. And then you push it off, like, no, I'm not going to have this. And then when you finally do cave in and have it, you immediately feel regret. You immediately feel like you're just less of a person. And know that that's not true. You're not less of a person at all. Sometimes, you know, our mental game just needs a little bit of a push and a little bit of strengthening and flexing. That's all that means. So practice self-love, you know, become more aware of what your body goes through when you do things like, you know, indulging in chocolate. Understand that, you know, your body is a machine. It's a tool to help you live the most best life you can, right? So don't look at, you know, a diet, or I hate the word diet, but don't look at how you eat as an indication of like how good of a person you are. That should never be an association. Rather, look at food as a way to become the best person that you possibly can be, and feel like the best you can be. That's the best part, is if you're feeling amazing after eating like a little bit of chocolate, hey, you know what? Who am I to get in the way of that? That's fine. But if you are feeling like constant regret, if you feel like, you know, you just have negative associations after indulging in something, you know, after you kind of get that dopamine rush and then you kind of like ride off that high. It's kind of like an addiction in a way. There's a lot more bigger things at stake than just dieting here. You know, there's a lot of like self-awareness, self-association, and what you feel about yourself, and putting that on food. And that should never be the case, right? So let's see, and we have other things I wanted to say too. Yeah, so when it comes to dealing with cravings, especially with chocolate, you know, some cravings actually happen because we're not getting enough nutrients in our body, right? So depending on what you're eating in the day, like if you are not feeling full after eating like a dinner and you still like are getting like hunger pains or something like that, you may want to reevaluate what you're eating, how you're eating. And that's a whole completely different video, and I actually have several videos about how to meal plan and how to really strategically plan, very quickly, mind you, on how to strategically plan how to eat, what to eat, and target the right food so that you are reducing the amount of times that you have cravings. So I will include that video link in the description below as well, so you can go ahead and check that out. And again, meal planning, like, it sounds like a big like problem. It sounds like, I mean, I'll be honest, like when I first heard about meal planning, it sounded like the biggest pain in the ass I ever like experienced or heard about. And honestly, now that I've done it, it's something that I take 5 minutes out of my day. I'm not even joking, 5 minutes out of my day to just do and evaluate and make sure that I'm hitting all the things I need to hit. Once you kind of have that, I mean, like if you've ever done Weight Watchers before, or if ever counted calories, I found that those were so ineffective because it just took so much time and mental energy out of my day. The way that I kind of like to meal plan, like, and I said in that video description below, I want to make sure I hit all the nutrients and vitamins that I need to hit so that I'm gearing myself for the best, feeling the best, like physical fitness that I can have for myself. So yeah, be sure to check that out. Meal planning is really, really good to help you meet all of your nutrients so that you're not like craving like heavy things after eating something. So let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got. So thank you so much for that question. If you have any other types of questions concerning, you know, mental wellness, physical stuff, how to become the best version of yourself, personal development stuff, please add a comment in the description below, not in the description, but just add a comment. Let me know. I really love to answer your questions and to really dive deep into the world of you know, how fitness is for everybody. And being fit doesn't necessarily mean you have to like jog 12 miles a day and just drink nothing but watercress salads and water. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just like is soaring. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not at my goal weight, but I'm loving who I am. And that's the most important thing, right? So with that, I will sign off. Thank you so much for listening to me. And again, if you have any other questions, please be sure to comment below. Okay, bye.